everybody, Joe Joseph here for thedailysheeple.com, and this is your news shot. So the Guardian over in the UK, talking about the shift that's taking place with regards to power and influence over our non-representing representatives in Washington, D.C. And it says, forget Wall Street. Silicon Valley is the new political power in Washington. Interestingly enough, now let's be real. The banks have not lost their power and their influence. What's happened is Silicon Valley's influence has grown exponentially here in the last 5 years or so. And due to the power that they wield, especially with regards to social media, they have really positioned themselves to hold a lot of weight and have a lot of power in the political sphere because of their reach and their ability to limit the reach of opposing viewpoints, which is exactly what's going on right now, a form of soft censorship. It says here, the scholar Barry Lynn worked at the New American Foundation, a Washington think tank, for 15 years studying the growing power of technology companies like Google and Facebook. For 14 years, he said everything was great. But this week he was fired. Why? Well, he believes it's because Google, one of the think tank's biggest funders, was unhappy with the direction of his research, which was increasingly calling for tech giants, including Google, Facebook, and Amazon, to be regulated as monopolies. Let me stop there. Isn't it interesting how the old adage goes, follow the money? And each time when you see something like this happen, all you have to do is follow the money trail back, and then you'll see the story unfold. You know, you see a lot about this in science, where if you take a look at studies, the first thing that you want to see is who funded the study, and then what was the underlying reasoning for conducting the study in the first place. What were they trying to do? Typically, what they're trying to do is tailor scientific data to an outcome that's already been predetermined. You know, if they say, okay, well, we need a study that says cancer is caused by X. Well, then they will do and conduct whatever research is necessary to come to that outcome, to come to that conclusion. It's definitely biased. It's definitely swayed in most cases towards the interest of that entity or person that's funding it. Now, it says leaked emails suggest the foundation was concerned that Lynn's criticism could jeopardize future funding. In one of them, the organization's president, Anne-Marie Slaughter, wrote this, quote, "We're in the process of trying to expand our relationship with Google on some absolutely key points. Just think about how you are imperiling funding for others." You know, we take a look at things like the American Cancer Society and other organizations where research funding is critical to the employment of thousands of people. And it's one of the reasons why they say there's no money in cures. There's so many people that hitch their wagon to things that it's very hard to move on. You know, we take a look at car companies, you know, tires. Are you telling me that in this day and age we still need tires on our car? You telling me that we need that? You know, gasoline. You telling me that in this day and age we need gasoline to fuel our vehicles? No. But what you have is an age-old oil company, companies and, big oil, huge lobbying influence, have a lot of power. They employ a lot of people. You know, what they'll say is, well, if we do that, let's just say, for example, we go to water fueling our cars, which there have been plenty of people that have made cars that run on water. If we did that, why? It would be devastating to all these people that are employed by big oil, by the drilling companies, the energy companies. And it's always a doomsday scenario, whereas if we approached it like we did during the Industrial Revolution and during the automation, the early 20th century, where we had automation really come and take the jobs of many people, we survived it okay. Why can't we do this now and change things for the benefit of humanity? Could you imagine if you didn't have to put gas in your car, all you had to do is water it. It's crazy. It's one of those free humanity moments. Same thing with energy. Could you imagine if we utilized the technology that's already been put out there for free energy? Instead of having to pay an electric bill? What would that do for you? This technology exists. The problem is you're up against money trust. The money trust and these money powers that don't want to give up the money and subsequently the control that they have over you because of it. Now, it says Slaughter denies that Lin was fired for his criticism of Google. It's a difficult story to swallow, given that Google's parent company, Alphabet, along with its executive chairman, Eric Schmidt, donated $21 million to New America since 1999. Schmidt even chaired the think tank for years in its main conference room called the Eric Schmidt Ideas Lab. Yeah, so obviously you could see some deep ties here. And what happened was you got Lin that goes and rocks the boat, and he gets fired because his opposing viewpoint or his views run counter to that of the interests of your big social media giants and your big Silicon Valley companies, these leviathans. And they're not going to give it up. This was the downfall of Tesla. Here comes Tesla, free energy technology. JP Morgan says to Nikola Tesla, where do you put a meter on this thing? He says you don't. Next thing you know, boop, funding pulled. Why would he change it? Why would he change what value added to JP Morgan was there to go free energy? None. He would lose not only a ton of money, but his position of power. He would lose that control that he wielded over the people because they have to buy electricity. They depend on the power companies for their power. Today, same thing with, communications, all this. We're dependent on these companies for these services that really affect our life, even though there's technology out there that we could utilize that wouldn't cost you anything. Yeah, maybe to set it up, maybe to, start up. But once it gets up and running, there's no cost to it. This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff that we as human beings really need to start taking control of and providing accountability so that we can actually free ourselves from slavery. The slavery of societal standards. The slavery of being subservient to these big mega corporations. The slavery of not being able to express yourself freely and put them out there in the public domain for healthy debate. These are things that are being cut off and strangled so that they can exert that control that they had when the mainstream media was the only game in town. This is what we're up against. But this is what we have to get active on and not be apathetic about. So let's get active. I'm fighting, and I need you to fight with me. I'm Joe Joseph. This was thedailysheeple.com's News Shot. Feel free to comment below and visit our website at thedailysheeple.com. Have a great day.